Hello everyone, my name is Zesh and you're watching a Feed the Beast tutorial on Nerd Life. Today marks the very first episode of our Feed the Beast tutorial series here on Nerd Life, and as you can see by the sign over this door, we are going to do everything you might consider for beginners. So if you're getting started with Feed the Beast, this is going to be the perfect video for you. You're going to learn the very first 3 machines that you're probably going to want to build. I mean, there's other things you can do, but these are the 3 basics that if you build them, you will be safely cementing yourself in Feed the Beast greatness. So let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. As you can see, I've got 3 blocks here. 3 machines that are going to help you get your Feed the Beast empire started. The very first one here is your generator. This item is very simple to make, and overall, it's the perfect starting point for your series, for your gameplay. In order to get started making a generator, you're going to need 2 components essentially. One is going to be a machine block, which is a square of refined iron, as if you were making a furnace. Instead of with cobblestone, you're going to be doing the same thing with refined iron. In order to make refined iron, all you have to do is take some iron ingots and put them in your furnace again. Recooking these iron ingots will return them into refined iron for you. The next component is going to be an RE battery, which, as you can see, requires a copper cable, tin on either side of the bottom 2 rows, and then redstone right down the middle underneath the wire. Once you have those 2 components, the machine block and the RE battery, you're going to be able to put them into your crafting table on top of a furnace, and voila, you have yourself a generator. Once you have it built, you have a way to generate electricity, which is going to be how you power every subsequent machine that you make. Now, there are other energy types. There are basically 2 types of energy. The generator produces EU, which is your standard buildcraft energy, or IC2 energy, and pretty much everything that doesn't use red power energy is going to be able to use the energy produced by this generator. The generator takes charcoal or any other fuel that you could technically use in a furnace, for instance, normal coal, wood, whatever, and it will turn it into electricity. This is not necessarily it's definitely not the best way to produce energy, but it's the easiest way to get started, and the generator is fairly cheap to make to begin with. So you get your generator built, and then you're going to want a way to store more energy, because this internal storage is very limited. It takes about 2 seconds to fill up, and as you can imagine, it takes about 2 seconds to empty out as well. And once it empties out, it just drains directly from your charcoal or whatever you're using to cook. So you're going to want a way to have a larger reservoir of energy stored. Which brings us to our second machine here, the BatBox. Now, there are other items, there's things called battery boxes, etc., but the BatBox is the one you're looking for in this case. As you can see, it's just a standard block, but if we remove this wire, you can see that there's a dot on one side, and there's nothing on the others. Now, if you're using a texture pack, this may look a little bit different, but you're basically looking for the side that's different from every other side. That side is your output side. That means that your energy points are going to go in. For instance, this is a coal generator. I mean, this is generating energy. So if I want to transfer the energy into the BatBox, I have to hook it into one of the inputs. Since all these sides are inputs, I can hook them into any. And this means that if I have multiple sources of energy, I can easily hook them up to any side I want. However, there's only one input, so if I want to use the energy on any other machine, the machines are going to have to hook into this side. As a side note about the BatBox, if you need to move it, or at the very least, if you need to change the side that the input or the output is, you can make yourself a wrench, and by clicking on the side you would want the output to be on, it will change the direction. In addition, you can pick the machine up without breaking it with the wrench as well. Boom! The BatBox is also fairly simple to make, and you shouldn't have an issue producing one early on in the game. Making a BatBox is fairly simple. You need a few pieces of wood, some of the RE batteries that you learned how to make whenever you were making your generator, and one copper cable. As you can see, you line the center row with 3 RE batteries, the bottom row with any type of wood planks that you can find. The top row is a wood plank block on either side and 1 copper cable in the middle. Once you have it made, you can open it up, and as you can see here, we have another gauge just like you have on the generator. This one, however, has an actual number next to it telling you that it will store up to 40,000 EU and put out 32 EU per tick into the machines that are using power. It also has a socket here that will basically allow you to charge items that need electricity, for instance your electric tools, jetpacks, etc. Once you're done though, you're going to want to power machines. There's no point in having power if you don't have any machines that require power. So one of the very first, if not the first machine outside of your power generating system that you're going to want to make is a macerator. And the reason that you want a macerator is because it gives you the basic ability to multiply all the ore that you find into double. In order to put your macerator together, you're going to need 2 components. One is going to be the machine block, which you already learned to make, and another is going to be a new item, the electronic circuit. As you can see from the recipe, you're going to need 6 total copper cables to line the top and the bottom rows, and then in the center you're going to have redstone surrounding 1 iron ingot in the very middle. Once you've created those items, you'll be ready to put together your macerator. As you can see, there are 2 different recipes that you might be working with, depending on which Feed the Beast pack you're using. If the pack has GregTech installed, then you're going to be looking at a very expensive version of it, though it is fairly simple. You're going to need 3 diamonds and 4 flint to put around your machine block and your electronic circuit. If you're working with the standard non-GregTech mod pack, then you're just looking at 3 flint along the top, some cobble on either side of a machine block, and then the electronic circuit alone at the bottom. Once you open your macerator up, you have a block here that and you have electricity icon, I guess you could say, here as well. And this, if it's red, it's basically telling you that it has enough energy to do its job. Now if I type in iron and I grab some iron ore here, I can pop it in here and it will slowly start filling this up, and eventually it will split each and every raw ore that we have into 2 dust of the same type. So for every 1 iron ore block, it's going to produce 2 iron dusts. Boom, we have 2 iron dust here. Once you have the iron dust, you can cook them in a standard furnace and produce 2 iron ingots, effectively doubling the yield of all the ore that you mine, which is why it is the perfect machine for you to start out with. You're immediately getting double the amount of resources that you would normally have for mining with just running this machine. Effectively, because you're using coal in your generator, you're turning coal to free ore, which is amazing. So once you have that, you are pretty much set up from the get-go to really succeed in whatever else you want to do after this. So once you have these 3 machines, the sky is really the limit. But in case you guys are really wanting a really basic blueprint to what sort of things you should be doing at the beginning of your gameplay, then please stay tuned, because next time we're going to continue this arc and keep looking at beginner items that you should think about building when you're first starting Feed the Beast. So until next time, this has been Ash on our brand new Feed the Beast tutorials here on Nerd Life. Thank you for watching, and hopefully this helped.